Hey, this is Tucker. Tucker's sibling, Archer, is squirming in the background, so if you hear another dog barking, we don't want him to participate. In this video, I'm going to show you how, this is something I call click for looks. This is an exercise that you can use a clicker to give your dog, communicate to your dog that it's doing something you like or develop a positive association with something. Tucker has nipped a couple people, kids. And these guys are herding breed, so that is natural for them to want to correct, especially if there's a lot of movement. So one of the suggestions, if you have a herding breed and kids over, the dog should not be in the room when the kids are roughhousing and running around, because that's just really tempting for them to want to nip to say, hey, calm down. So if you're going to use a clicker, the very first thing you have to do is you always need to prime the clicker. And priming the clicker is an example of what we call classical conditioning, Pavlov's dog. So to prime the clicker, what we're going to do is I've got a bunch of treats. I'm going to throw a treat on the ground. Every time that Tucker licks it up, I'm going to click to associate. The click means treat in the mouth. Tucker's got to do a little scratching first. So there we go. So I'm going to do this for about 10 treats. I would have you guys get a clicker. You can get them at pet stores, on Amazon, they're pretty cheap. Get one I like the ones that looks like a teardrop shape as opposed to the box, because the box ones I find fail a lot. So basically all you got to do is grab about 10 of these treats, you throw them on the ground, every time the dog licks up, you click. You do that maybe 6 or 7 times, maybe 2 or 3 times today, 2 or 3 times tomorrow. So go to Petco or Pet today and get a clicker and you can do this. Okay, so now the dog starts to associate that the click means I'm about to get a treat. Now, when you are using a clicker, the clicker is to indicate the precise second the dog did what you wanted. And so every time that the dog, in this case, I'm going to try to get the dog to look at something specifically. Actually, Anna, can you toss me that water bottle? And so I'm going to use this water bottle as an example. Now, he likes to go ahead. There you go. So he likes to bark. We also are near a public recreation area without, I don't like give too many details, but basically there's a lot of people outside and the dog sometimes barks at the people who are doing their recreation. And so as a result of that, the guardians obviously don't want their dog barking at people, and that can create some frustration and the dog gets a little confused. So what we're going to do is I'm going to see if I can use what we call free shaping to teach him to look at this bottle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to tell him, let's get over here so we have better camera presence. There you go. Stage. All right. So what I'm doing is I'm just watching. Now, you can come up with a word for this. A lot of times I do it with like kids. I might say friendly or something like that. So I'm just watching his eyes. I'm not telling him what to do. When he looks at the bottle, friendly is the word I'm going to assign, even though I could say bottle for this. But he doesn't know why he got it. He just accidentally looked at the bottle. Here, buddy. And he got the treat. Friendly. This is easier if you're not with your back to the camera, but you guys understand. Friendly. So as he's kind of friendly, so you're just watching him every time he looks at the bottle, I'm clicking and then saying, giving the treat, and I'm assigning a command word of friendly. Friendly. So I'm just teaching him right now just to look at this bottle. But we could do this also outside. So like I said, we have a public recreation area. There's a lot of people that are outside. So what we might do is go outside. Now we do this with one dog at a time. Put the dog in the confined area, and then if you can see out of the confined area. And as soon as you have a person coming by doing the recreational activity, just wait. And as soon as he voluntarily looks at them, click, give him the treat, and we might call it hiker or skier or whatever the activity that people are doing. So, and you can say amigos or friends or something like that if you want to use a positive word. So you could do this with a couple of different things. So anytime there's a person out there that's doing the activity, we click and then say whatever that command word is. So what we're basically doing is just telling the dog, hey, looking at this thing is going to get you a reward. Right now they look at it and they start getting themselves worked up and they're like, well, you shouldn't be here and I'm going to bark at you. And every time I bark at you, it makes you leave. So my bark is pretty powerful. So I'm going to use this to be a guard dog. Now, we talked about off-camera rules and structure to help these dogs identify as more of a follower. You see now he's almost licking at the bottle because just looking at it got me a treat. What if I touch my nose? And that would be the next stage that we want to do if you do want your dog to interact with the bottle. In this case, all I want to do is look at the people doing the recreation, gets me a treat. So instead of actually looking at them and having a negative association, I look at them and have a positive association. Same sort of thing with kids that come over to visit. So what I would do is, a lot of times I do this, I would probably, when kids are over here, I'd probably have them on a leash. Now, exercising them before you do this is always a good idea, like we talked about off camera. So basically what I do is maybe if the kids are going to be doing some activity, the wrestling or roughhousing, which kids will want to do, you go down there and just the kids come up and say, hey, let's practice a click for look. You go put him on a leash. You bring him to the far side of the room. My 2 tests: can I get the dog to sit and take the treat while the kids are doing it? If they won't sit or take the treat, the dog is too close to it or the activity is too intense. So you might have the kids practice playing like at half speed or slow motion, whatever you need to. So the whole point is the dog can't be reacting by barking and lunging while this is going on. So every time the dog looks at the kids, click. And if it's just any kids that he's reactive to at all, we might just have the kid just sitting there and just wait for the kid, and the dog's just kind of like checking things out, looks at the kid, click, and then I get a treat, and I would say the child's name. So now we're assigning, every time I look at Jethro, I hear a click and I get a treat. Well, I like Jethro because looking at him equals getting these good treats. Now, if it is the kids running around, so at first what you do is, all they gotta do is look at the kid and then click. And then we get to the point where he's pretty much just staring at the kid, then you can have the kid move around a little bit. And then now the movement is going to naturally attract the dog's attention. But what we might have the kid just do is just go like this. The dog looks and we click and give the treat. So all the kid's doing is just raising his arm first. Then maybe raising the other arm. Then raising both arms. Then standing up. Then standing up and taking a step or a jump in. So you want to break down all the individual activities. And eventually you might notice the dog always reacts when the kids are screaming and running around. That's the time. Well, that's what we want to practice. So looking at that activity, instead of thinking that's something I need to correct by nipping at, I think that's actually something good. I like that. I'm just going to sit here and watch it because the more I watch it, eventually I get a treat. All right, let's let them both. You can let them both go. Tucker. Archer. Well, this is Archer. Sit. Archer. Tucker. And these are some tips and tricks you can use. I can use a clicker to click for looks to help develop a positive association of things your dog normally reacts to.